And so I wanted to give a general grocery list for that follow this healthy eating pattern, as we want to kind of minimize the amount of person-to-person contact. I have some ideas and suggestions for maybe long shelf life food items that you can kind of bulk buy and keep in your pantry. And so again, vegetables, it's okay to have frozen or canned items as well, because again, it has long shelf life. And sometimes some of these items have just the same or even more nutritional content as the fresh vegetables.
What's a example of something that might be like canned or frozen that actually is like better in that form versus like just buying like that whole vegetable?
Yeah, I'd say, although tomatoes, it could be a fruit, but I'd say tomato is a good example of fresh versus canned, and how canned tomatoes can have higher nutritional content than a fresh tomato. But now, okay, I want to go through each subgroup. The dark greens, examples are spinach, kale, romaine. Red and orange vegetables, including bell peppers and carrots. Legumes, including black beans, garbanzo beans, kidney beans, and lentils. Again, you can buy these dried as well, and cook those up too. Then starchy, including potatoes and sweet potato, and then an example is cauliflower.
What are, so people might see garbanzo beans, that's also known by a slightly different name if you see it on the shelf, right?
They're also known as chickpeas.
Ah, I see. Awesome.
Okay. Next, I want to talk about fruits. Again, fresh, frozen, dried, or canned is an option. Examples of fruits are apples, bananas, oranges. If you buy a lot of bananas and if you don't eat it in time and they become really ripe, you can also freeze them. They make great banana popsicles. You can buy frozen or fresh blueberries, strawberries, or raspberries. They go great in smoothies. But I do want to make note that dried and canned options, they are good options. However, dried fruit tends to be nutrient dense, higher in calorie and sugar, so making sure to eat in moderation. And then canned fruits are often packed in syrup, so try to find the ones that says in 100% fruit juice.
Awesome.
Next, I'm going to talk about grains. Again, the recommendations are making half whole grains. So examples are for rice, including brown rice. Pasta includes whole wheat, quinoa, brown rice pasta. And then bread is whole wheat or honey oat. And then quinoa, oats, and cereal are also whole grain option.
Awesome. And for, can you give us some options, maybe if people don't know what a non-whole grain option would be, maybe for rice, pasta, and bread, what would be like, so people might be able to differentiate between
white rice versus brown rice, or again, white bread versus whole wheat bread. Making sure to look at your ingredients list is a good way to figure out, hey, if this is whole grain or not. You want to make sure in the ingredients list there is that word whole in the list.
Awesome. Super cool.
Next, I'm going to talk about fat-free and low-fat dairy. Again, there are shelf-stable milk and milk alternatives such as soy, almond, coconut, and cashew milk. However, I do want to note that the milk alternatives, sometimes some of those drinks are lower in protein, and so making sure we get protein in other ways as well. Then there's also yogurt and Greek yogurt, as well as cheese.
Is there any certain type of cheese you might recommend that people buy in bulk? Is there like a type of people buy maybe like a block of cheese versus shredded cheese, or incorporating it in different ways?
Yeah, there's a lot of different options in bulk. You can buy in bulk, and they do tend to have a longer. The cheese do have a long shelf life.
Yeah, cool.
Next, I want to talk about protein. Good proteins options are seafood. Again, you can buy canned tuna, canned sardines, canned meats, and then lean meats and poultry. You can either buy fresh meats and freeze them, or you can even already buy frozen chicken and all that. Again, and eggs is a great protein source. We want to make sure we eat the entire egg because the yolk and the egg whites have different nutritional composition, and both are great in different ways.
You mentioned that eggs might be hard to find.
They are hard to find. Last time I went grocery shopping, they only had the very, very expensive egg, but I did get it.
And if somebody sees maybe a big carton of normal like white eggs, white shell eggs versus brown shell eggs, what's the difference there?
In terms of nutritional composition, there is not a difference.
Okay.
And then again, beans and peas are also good sources of protein, nuts and seeds, as well as soy, such as tofu and edamame. You can find edamame in the frozen section, and making sure you eat the pods, not the shell.
Right. I think some people, if it was their first experience eating edamame, they might have clamped down on the outside instead of just eating the stuff.
It is not a sugar snap pea.
Right. But you can find those frozen, and that's just as fine with like fresh versions as well.
There are also dry roasted versions too. That makes a great snack.
Awesome.
Next, I'm going to talk about oils, including olive, canola, safflower, sunflower, as well as peanut oils. They are also found in food such as nuts and seeds, seafood, and again, avocados.